Think about this for a moment. A child screams. The adult raises their voice. The situation escalates. And everyone leaves feeling exhausted, guilty, or defeated. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never talk about. The louder the adult becomes, the less discipline the child actually learns. What if I told you there is a completely different approach, one that builds discipline without punishment, without yelling, and without emotional battles? And more importantly, it actually works. In Germany, many parents follow a simple rule that most people outside the country have never heard of. It doesn't rely on rewards. It doesn't rely on threats. And it doesn't rely on emotional pressure. Instead, it teaches something far more powerful: self-regulation. This rule is not loud. It is not dramatic. And that is exactly why it works. Here's where most parents get it wrong. We assume discipline means controlling the child. In reality, it starts with controlling ourselves. In German parenting culture, discipline is not created through fear of consequences. It is created through structure, predictability, and emotional neutrality. The adult becomes the calm reference point in the room. And this changes everything. Let's imagine a common situation. A child is told it's time to stop playing and get ready for bed. The child protests. They cry. They scream. They refuse. In many homes, this moment turns into negotiation, threats, counting, bribes, or anger. But in the German approach, something very different happens. The rule was already stated earlier. The boundary is already known. And when resistance appears, the adult does not debate, explain again, or escalate emotionally. They simply stay calm and present. No yelling. No bargaining. No rescuing the child from frustration. This is where most parents feel deeply uncomfortable. Because we are taught that if a child is upset, we must immediately fix it. Distract them. Reason with them. Or make the discomfort disappear. But here is the shift that changes everything. Discomfort is not danger. Frustration is not harm. And emotions are not emergencies. Children are allowed to feel angry, sad, or disappointed. What they are not allowed to do is change the boundary through emotional escalation. This distinction is critical. The child learns that emotions are safe to feel, but they do not control reality. Most parents miss this part. When the adult stays emotionally neutral, the child's nervous system has nothing to fight against. There is no emotional fuel. No power struggle. No reward for escalation. The emotional wave rises, and then it falls. This is how self-regulation is learned. Not through lectures. Not through punishment. But through repeated exposure to calm, predictable limits. Let me give you a real-life example. A 4-year-old is told that screen time is over. In the past, screaming led to just 5 more minutes. This time, the parent stays calm. They acknowledge the feeling. And they keep the limit. The child screams harder. Cries louder. Tries again. And then something surprising happens. After a few minutes, the child stops. Not because they were punished, but because the strategy no longer works. The next day, the meltdown is shorter. A week later, it barely happens. A month later, it's gone. This is not obedience. This is learning. Another essential part of this rule is that rules are few, clear, and consistent. German parents avoid creating dozens of flexible rules. Instead, they choose a small number of non-negotiable structures. Bedtime happens at the same time. Meals happen at the same time. Expectations are known in advance. And here's something most parents underestimate. When structure is stable, children feel safer. And when children feel safe, they fight less. Many tantrums are not about defiance. They are about uncertainty. When a child doesn't know what will happen next, they test. They push. They escalate. But when the environment is predictable, there is far less need to test limits. Here's another mistake many well-meaning parents make. They try to explain in the middle of a meltdown. But a dysregulated brain cannot learn. German parents rarely reason during emotional storms. They explain before. Or they explain after. In the moment, the adult says very little. Sometimes one sentence. Sometimes nothing at all. And this silence is not neglect. It is leadership. Calm silence communicates confidence. It communicates certainty. And it communicates safety. This does not mean the parent is cold or distant. Affection is still present. Connection is still there. But it is not used to erase discomfort. This is one of the hardest shifts for parents to make. We often confuse love with rescuing. But resilience is built when a child experiences difficult emotions and survives them with support, not avoidance. The German rule teaches children something essential: I can feel this, and I will be okay. Over time, children raised this way develop a higher tolerance for frustration. They recover faster. They rely less on external soothing. And they become more emotionally independent. At first, behavior may intensify. This is normal. When old strategies stop working, children try harder. This is not failure. It is testing. Many parents give up right here. But when the adult stays calm and consistent, the test eventually ends. And something powerful takes its place. Discipline becomes internal. The child stops because they understand the structure, not because they fear the adult. This is the true goal of discipline. Not obedience, but self-control. Another powerful aspect of this rule is that it removes shame from parenting. There is no labeling. No bad child, no character attacks. Behavior is corrected without damaging self-worth. The child learns, I made a mistake, not, I am a mistake. This difference shapes how children see themselves for life. German parents often say something simple but profound: children don't need stronger punishments. They need calmer adults. And psychology supports this. Children borrow regulation from adults. When the adult is dysregulated, the child has no model to copy. But when the adult stays grounded, the child's nervous system slowly synchronizes. This is co-regulation. And over time, co-regulation becomes self-regulation. Years later, these children grow into adults who respect boundaries, who tolerate frustration, and who don't collapse emotionally when things don't go their way. If there is one idea worth remembering from this video, it is this: discipline is not something you do to a child. It is something you demonstrate in front of them. When you stay calm, consistent, and predictable, your child learns to do the same. Not because they are forced to, but because it becomes the only behavior that makes sense. And that is the quiet power of the German rule.